In this video, I want to talk about the one thing most people ignore when they're thinking about their financial plan. Welcome to What Happens Next. Welcome to the What Happens Next channel, the channel dedicated to having more nuanced conversations, I like that word, more nuanced conversations about the next chapter of our lives. I think when we're in our 50s and 60s, typically, something's earlier for something's later, and we're thinking about giving up the career that we've worked on for so long or thinking about what's next, often we need to look at that decision we make in a really nuanced way. And this channel is dedicated to have those conversations. So of course there's the element we need to think about from a financial perspective and thinking about have we built enough and what happens next financially, but also that change from doing whatever we're doing full time to a bit more of a balanced life also creates additional challenges in other areas of well-being, because we've got to think about where our social connections are and whether we need to add more community work into our mix, or whether this life next has the purpose and values we believe in to allow us to live a life well lived. So ultimately this channel is about a life well lived and thinking about, whilst you're making changes throughout your life, how to make sure that you're considering a life well lived as part of that mix. Not just, as I've seen in a few clients, hopefully at my financial planning practice, we have a bit more of a nuanced conversation now, but I've seen with a few of my clients, they give up work and then they're a bit lost. They don't know what to do. And what we want to do is put good quality conversations out there, insights from experts, to make sure that when you get to that point, you're not just falling off a cliff edge when it comes to thinking about how you spend your time. You've planned, you've prepared, you've thought about how not only you're going to spend your money, but also your time, and you've got a more nuanced plan and preparation about what you're going to do next. I'd love for you to share our work. So there's two really simple free ways you can do that. You can like this video and subscribe to the channel. That allows us to share some of the ideas that we're talking about with the people you love and like, so that we make sure that they're better prepared for what happens next, but also allows us to continue to develop the content on the channel to make sure that we're inviting more expert guests and thinking about who's going to add value to the conversation. And if this is the first time you've been here or you've watched a couple of the videos, feel free to look around more. There's so much content, loads of golden nuggets, both in short form and in long form on the channel that I'd love for you to see. But I suppose 3.5 minutes in, I better tell you why I'm presenting this channel. Well, my name's Chris, and I'm not at my What Happens Next moment yet. I'm 47 as I record this video today, but I run a childhood financial planning practice where we have conversations with clients who have reached that point where they're thinking about what's next. And it's an interesting one, because often when clients come in and speak to me, they're at a point in their lives where our job as childhood financial planners and the work we do is about helping them financially. And what we often do is answer a fundamental underlying question that they want the answer to. And that is, have I got enough? Have I got enough money to live the life I want for the rest of my life? Because actually our expenditure, if we retire at 55 and die at 90, 35 years, isn't going to be level. So what we need to do, and this is the factor that most people ignore when they're thinking about their financial plan, is not only focus on lifespan, making sure you've got enough money so the money doesn't run out, but also health span. How long are you going to be fit and healthy enough to do what you want to do with the money you've got, to ensure that you're ticking those things off the bucket list as you go along? And there's two parts to that. Now, firstly, what happens next is about having more nuanced conversations And there's stuff we can do wherever you sit today to expand our health span. That's why one of the things that we always talk about in What Happens Next is not only financial well-being, but physical well-being. Now, I'm no expert on this, but thankfully I've interviewed loads of experts, and you can go on to www.whathappensnext.life and check out the videos on the YouTube channel to get that expert insight. If you go on the website, by the way, and click the physical wellbeing link, you'll be able to see the interviews on there. We've got loads more great ones coming, including one that I'm really excited to share with you about nutrition. So step one is, how do we make sure we're taking the actions and we've got the behaviours to extend that health span for as long as possible? And the start of 10 is, feel free to watch some of our videos that talks about the simple steps you can make to do that. However, the second part is to consider what we do when we're thinking about a financial plan and how we use the money, with the wealth we've accumulated, whilst our energy, mobility and desire to allow us to do things allows us to do so. The big one for me, and the one I think is always most pertinent, is travel. Because often my clients in their 50s and 60s and early 70s, for the ones that have maintained that level of physical health, have a desire remaining to travel to exotic locations. And typically what I find with my older clients is that desire slows down over time. So when we're thinking about the amount we might need to spend, that might be earlier, that might be more in the earlier years than in the later years because of these travel plans. I don't want you to wait. I want you to plan sensibly so that you're doing the things you want to do, ticking those things off the bucket list. But I want to make sure that as part of the service we're providing to you, if you're watching this and thinking about this sort of stuff, you make sure you do those things. Because I've had experiences of working with clients where they didn't. They waited. They had the money to do it. We'd factored that into their financial plan, and unfortunately they waited so long that their health meant that the things they really wanted to do, they couldn't do. So when we're thinking about a financial plan, think about both health span and lifespan. So we know we need to make sure the money doesn't run out until we pass, until we die, but knowing that time is the finite commodity we're working against, and that health, for most people anyway, slowly deteriorates over time, means two things. Number one, we need to do what we can in our physical well-being to make sure that our health deteriorates more slowly. I don't know whether you can reverse it, but deteriorates more slowly. But also, number two, factoring in a potentially greater expense in those early years of whatever happens next in your life, so you can make sure that you do the things that you want to. And I hope you agree, a successful financial plan is about living a life well lived with the money you've got, and making sure that you do all of those things, if in this chapter of your life where you're moving into what happens next, you're using that money to do all those things that time enables you to do. Again, if you've enjoyed this video and it's given you food for thought, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you know, and I'd really appreciate it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time on What Happens Next.